Hello, my name is Amanda Wareham, and I'm here to present a speech on PTSD to inform the class with facts about PTSD related to emotional abuse. Did you know that PTSD is almost twice as likely to develop in women than in men? Did you know that the shame and guilt distress that is associated with PTSD can be from emotional abuse and verbal abuse? It is hard to recognize the signs of emotional abuse and verbal abuse, but when you do, I highly suggest you reach out to the resources necessary to help you. According to the Psychological Care and Healing Center, 1 out of every 9 women develops PTSD. According to Vancouver Coastal Health, emotional abuse is defined as any act including confinement, isolation, verbal assault, humiliation, intimidation, or any other treatment which may diminish the sense of one's dignity, identity, and self-worth. This information provided by the Psychological Care and Healing Center provided some examples of emotional abuse. These include threats of violence or abandonment, lying, making negative statements about you to others, as well as ignoring and criticizing. This is just to say the least, in my opinion. PTSD diagnosis refers to a series of symptoms. These symptoms include reoccurrent re-experiencing of the event or traumatic events, if there's multiple. Also, avoidant behavior, as well as signs of hyperarousal. This can all be treated in different types of therapy, depending on the severity of the PTSD. The members at the University of Memphis and the University of Buffalo explored a study that resulted that the conceptualization of shame, guilt distress, and guilt cognitions as relevant to PTSD showed high levels of emotional and verbal abuse. Dominance and isolation interacted with high levels of shame and association also with PTSD. The prevalence of any mental health illness is said to be higher among women than men. The National Institute of Mental Health describes the prevalence of serious mental illness, which is higher for young adults and the age range between 18 and 25. This is an age range I personally went through without noticing the mental illness I was developing, anxiety, as well as depression, and eventually PTSD. I personally was diagnosed with PTSD last month. I was in a very toxic, emotionally abusive, and manipulative relationship with a narcissist, with what I believe was a narcissist. For 9 years, I lived under his thumb without even knowing it. I remember the anxiety I had the day I woke up and realized just that. That entire week after that morning, I spent changing passwords to all my personal accounts that had been invaded, finding important documents to set aside and to pack to be able to take with me, opening my own bank account, searching for a place to move myself and my 2 children, 11 and 4, that was secure and safe. Most of my thoughts in this situation related to the lie that I was unlovable. Spiral of darkness and wasting my life. I would push him away. And I would struggle to keep him away because I thought that I needed him. And I wouldn't find anyone like him who will do the things that he does for me. For years, I was able to push through the struggle, aside by keeping myself busy of the darkness I was feeling inside. When I realized to deal with a person who enhanced the mental illness I was consumed in for so many years, I realized that the source of my anxiety was the fight or flight mode that I was in for years leading up to getting myself and my children out of a situation I kept mindlessly putting us in over and over and over again. Once I realized that I didn't need to view things for once I realized that I knew I needed to view things exactly for what they were, not for the perception of others that consumed my thoughts for years. Our minds are great at providing distraction, and distraction is what I was best at until I didn't have enough distraction anymore. In conclusion, I truly believe that if we can spread awareness regarding the result of PTSD in relation to emotional abuse, that has the ability to create those feelings related to the diagnosis, we could save a lot more women from enduring what I did for 9 years. I'd like to leave you with this quote. I am the hero of this story. I don't need to be saved. Author unknown. Thank you.